listening to Sweep the League.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
Happy Friday, everyone. We made it. Welcome to another episode of Sweep the League. He is Elias. Make sure you give him a follow at sit_x_Elias. I am Jacob Eric Cancino. Make sure you give me a follow at Jacob Eric C. What's up, Elias, man? How you been?
Hey, what's good, bro? What's good? How's it going?
Been doing good. Just been doing the card thing, man. How about you? I see you've been spending a lot of time with family and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Just been hosting my show, Plead to Sit. Also part of the Super League Network, as you and Anthony are with Grading the Market. And this is a friendly takeover, Jacob. The Sweep the League is now ours, baby.
Yeah, just to let y'all know, moving forward, Elias and myself, we're going to be helping Rudy out from time to time with doing Sweep the League. He asked us to, and we said we'd be happy to. This isn't this is an Elias and my first time actually do scissors. We lost him. Oh, there he goes. Of course it would happen on the second episode. You good, brother?
Yeah, I'm
but
good.
Yeah, anyways, like I was saying, going forward, we're going to be helping Rudy out and stuff like that. Hey, before we get started, I wanted to pay our dues to pay our respects to Transformers, the movie. On this day back in 1986, the OG Transformers movie came out, man. It's a great movie. Have you seen it?
No, man. I spoke with Jeff Garcia about it from Cats 5, and I told him it's one of those flicks I haven't been able to catch up on.
You got to be kidding me. You've never seen the OG Transformers?
Oh, come on. No, bro. Like, Jeff and Rudy already spoiled it for me on their episode of PTS, so I was kind of like, I kind of don't want to go on it. But they say it's worth the watch, even if I know how it finishes. So
yeah,
maybe
you gotta watch it, man. Yeah, it's there on YouTube. I watch that thing maybe like about maybe once a month and stuff like that. Yeah.
Alrighty, well then I'll look into it.
Yeah, I want to say I think back in the day, I know when I actually went to go see it at the movie theaters. Yeah, 1986. That means I was 6 years old. I remember I went to go see it. My older brother actually took me to go see it. We met up with our cousins, Steve and Joey, at the old, I want to say it was called Century South, over off of Military. I think now it's the Mayan.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it is now. But yeah, and it was cool. It was one of those things. There was something about a promotion where, if I remember correctly, it was like you paid to watch it once, and you get to stay and you get to watch it twice at the time and stuff like that. It was really, really cool, which is pretty funny because you know what, 1986 back in the day for us, if you paid to go watch one movie, you pretty much you could stay in there as long as you want if you don't know how to do it right.
No, man. Nowadays, everything's an arm and a leg. So I actually went to go watch the newest, the reboot of The Naked Gun, starring Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
man, great comedy throwback. They kept the whole heart and soul from the OGs. It was perfect, bro. But like you said, I wish we still had those deals going on because, man, they ran me about $40 just for a popcorn and a Monster Energy drink, bro.
Oh
It's
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
yeah, back in the day, you paid for a ticket to go watch one movie, and then as everybody was exiting out the theater, man, you just ninja rolled right into the next ninja rolled right into the next one, and you go watch. We used to actually like look on the newspaper and see like, oh, if we do it right, we can watch this movie, and then we could sneak into this one, and then sneak into this one or whatever. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Kids today, they just don't know, dude.
They just don't know, and it's these dang cameras everywhere, Jacob. I'm not trying to get a lifetime ban on Cinemark, which really wouldn't do much nowadays because you miss a movie in the theaters and it's streaming on HBO like the next week. So is it really worth going to, your local theater and dropping $30-$40, knowing you could have a home cooked meal and watch it, in your living room like a week later?
Kick up your feet and stuff like that,
for sure.
put your arm around the lady and stuff like that. Yeah, it's good. Hey, so what do we got to get into today? I know Elias wanted to give his little take, or his take on Project Marvel. I know that's been the topic of the towns recently, and here in the 210. And then I know you also wanted to give your take on the Mika Parsons stuff going on. But before we get started, this is going to be courtesy of Jeff Garcia. And today, the Spurs were over. Well, Carter Bryant, Dylan Harper, and Riley Minix were over at Haven for Hope serving up food, man. So shout out to
Yeah, that's great to see the young players getting familiar with the city. Riley Minix, he's not a veteran, but this is his second year on the squad. And it's just glad to see him getting some exposure, especially now that he signed his two-way contract. I'm really looking forward to seeing their growth as a group.
Yeah. Yeah. I tweeted this out earlier and I was like, man, there's no strategic pause when it comes to the Spurs
Given
helping
that,
out the community. Yeah. But once again, yeah, I just wanted to show this off real quick. Again, this is courtesy of Jeff Garcia. Make sure you give him a follow at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So, yeah. Hey, so, you know, here, man, here in the 210, lately when it comes to the Spurs, it's just been pretty much all about Project Marvel, bro. And if y'all caught Sweep the League episode last night, y'all saw how I felt about it. I kind of went, I had a little bit of a reaction. So I went ahead and, gave my take. But Elias, you, you don't live, you don't live in the 210, but you are a Spurs fan, depending
yes,
on
sir.
who you ask on X. You know what I mean? But you still have a say. So when it comes to this Project Marvel stuff, how do you feel?
Okay, so I just want to direct something you had said. So you said I'm a Spurs fan, depending on who's asking. Uh, Shout out to Jeff Garcia of Locked On Spurs.
Yeah.
Rudy and I are public enemy number one and two when it comes to Spurs talk. I tried to speak on Project Marvel the other day on Twitter, and they told me, "Well, you're not from here, so shut your damn mouth." But all jokes aside, bro, from the outside looking in, I can't really speak on the financial aspect. As a fan of the Spurs, though, do I think they're deserving of a whole new practice area, arena, and whatnot? They haven't given up enough on paper for me to say that they're deserving. We've had six consecutive losing seasons. To me, I feel like we're getting ready to reward them for mediocrity. And now, if they go back to being a playoff team, then we give them something. You reward them. It's like rewarding a kid for bad behavior. Um, and alongside of that, we have to think about the financial aspect for y'all's locos. And I think that seems to be the biggest gripe when it comes to, y'all's mayors and you just the uproar that we see on X. And Jacob, like you said, you were cooking yesterday when it came to Project Marvel. I don't think you cooked enough. I think you left some gas in the chamber. And I think what's a better time to air it out than right now, man? How do you tell us how you really feel? Tell us how you really feel.
I had a little bit of a reaction last night. No, you know what? I let everybody know that that's what I thought. I understand. Going back, I understand both sides, and for the people who live around the Frost Bank Center, like right now, I understand if they're upset with Project Marvel. You some of the people who live downtown might actually be a little bit upset with it as well. But I think what I was talking about last night, I was just like, okay, I was more. I'm not. If you're going to take your Spurs jersey off, you take it off. You know what I mean? In other words, Trey, our friend Trey, he brought up a good point the other day. And this is from Trey. He had said, I know he had posted on X or whatever. He said something along the lines of like, you can't be against Project Marvel and then have Go Spurs Go in your profile, unless you really want the Spurs to go, like something like that. And I was like, man, that's great. You know what I mean? I never thought about it like that, but
Yeah, so I've seen that argument. Well, not that argument, but that statement be made by a lot. It says if you don't support Project Marvel, you're really a Spurs fan. Like I said, I can't speak for the residents of San Antonio, but Jacob, not everyone's able to keep up with the price increase. when it comes to going to the games, when it comes to whatever, whatever fallback's going to come from Project Marvel itself, taxes increasing or whatnot. That's not only affecting just the Spurs fans. You got to remember, non-Spurs fans are also being taxed and whatnot. It's not like y'all's local government's looking into y'all's profiles, checking for a hashtag race for SACE or stuff like that. So I mean, I see both sides of the argument. It's like some are pros, some are negative. I just don't think we need to be talking down on the team as it is. We got people trying to pack up their bags and send them to Las Vegas and whatnot. It's like, damn, can y'all just wait and see how this is gonna play out? And local council people, Jacob, are just atrocious. The stuff that they're putting out there to try and sway the people one way or another, that's just real bad governing, in my opinion. I know yesterday y'all talked about the mayor's statements. I don't get why there's such a big pause when it comes to it's either you vote on it on you or you don't. They're going the Jerry Jones route and playing with the people's emotions and just trying to get a reaction out of them. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Jeff Garcia
Right
joins
on
us,
cue.
Locked on Spurs. He goes, guys, did Mayor Jones comment or commit political suicide with her comments? Um, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far, but I will just say it rubbed the Spurs fans in a wrong way. You know what? I understand what she did. Like I understand like her concerns, but she could have gone about it a different way. She didn't have to do it like,
Condescendingly and
yeah,
the
it
way
was
she came
it was kind of
across.
bad. It was just
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? It was just like, oh well. And you know what? I guess the reason why it touched or I had like a big reaction is because at the time when the Chargers, it reminded me at the time when back then it was the San Diego Chargers when they left and they moved to the Los Angeles Chargers. That the mayor at the time in San Diego, he started publicly like beefing with the Chargers organization. And he was just like he went so far as to making like, oh, y'all are gonna leave, and like,
Go on ahead.
look at the way y'all are playing. If y'all are playing like that, nobody's gonna want y'all. You know what I mean? I mean, he was like hardcore. You know what I mean? Like he was going all in. You know what I mean? And we're like, oh wait, hold on. And sure enough, the Chargers left. You know what I mean? And I guess that's why I had a reaction. I was just like, no, no, you know what I mean? Don't do that. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, it's like not my Spurs. That's the pride and joy of not just San Antonio, but a lot of neighboring cities. Like I'm down by the border, and we have plenty of Spurs fans down here.
yeah,
Then again, I mean, in that same breath, I could say we have plenty of Laker fans too, because LeBron is a god to a lot of these kids nowadays, right? But I just wanted to ask you, Jacob. You think if Victor Wembanyama and crew had been in the playoffs a lot sooner, or just in general, instead of having six consecutive losing seasons, do you think there'd be more positive reactions when it comes to Project Marvel? Do
oh
you think
yeah.
that them losing and whatnot has a lot to do with them wanting to walk away from Project Marvel?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, if the product was better, and everybody has said this hundreds of times, if the product on the court was a lot better, um, you know, we wouldn't, there wouldn't be as too much. I guess you want to call it blowback, but there is, and I mentioned it last night that when UTSA had came out with that little study poll, whatever you want to call it, and they were like, "Hey man, the numbers ain't as big as everybody thinks on people for Project Marvel." At that time, I was actually at my place of work and stuff like that. So when I knew that the workers were going to be on break, I decided to take a walk around and started asking people about it. And lo and behold, I was kind of shocked because about 50% of the people were just like, no, I'm against it. There were even
Dang.
Spurs fans that they were just like, no, I don't want it. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow. Now, this is very early on. So, you know what I mean? Maybe they had their different reasons of like, well, as of right now, maybe they were a no. But yeah, things are definitely are going to get interesting going forward, man. I'll say that. Jeff, guys, you think San Antonio Spurs ownership might be salivating over this drama and see it as an excuse to dip out of San Antonio and relocate? Oh man.
Pers- Personally, I don't think so. I think that'd be pushing too much forward. I think that the owners of the Spurs like having them in San Antonio for the amount of, well, it's kind of contradicting statement, for the amount of support the team gets. It's just a financial aspect. They're not willing to pay for Project Marvel, but it's also well, not heritage, our background, I guess. Would you really want to pocket up more dough for something that's not going to benefit you? Because along with Project Marvel, they didn't announce ticket price decreases or anything like that. If we're still paying the same amount of prices we're paying to go to a Frostbank Sports game, then I just don't think it's worth it. If along with the new arena comes better prices, better parking, making it more consumer friendly, or attendable, then it'd sway more people, in my opinion, Jacob. But they can't even promise us that. They can't even promise that once Project Marvel and whatnot is complete, that the whole fan experience will be a lot cheaper and better, more bang for your buck. In other words, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, man. I don't, you know what? And this topic, it's not going to go away anytime soon. It's just going to keep. I have a feeling it's the closer they get to that date. What is it going to be like in November or something like that? I'm not really too familiar, but it's that these talks are going to continue to there. Yeah. Hey, speaking about talks continuing, if you want to say that, what's Dallas Cowboys? You're a Cowboys fan, aren't you?
No, I'm not. Yeah, man. If we're talking about talks leading into nothing, bro, then we gotta take y'all eyes over to the whole Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones situation, because it's just a whole shit show happening right now in Arlington or wherever the hell they're practicing at the moment. We even have our boy CD Lamb. They asked him what did he think about the whole Micah Parsons trade request situation? Is he gonna be leaving us, or what's the end game to all this? And he let us know, at least from his perspective, that Micah's going to be here, but he understands if the moves. He understands the moves he makes because at the end of the day, he has to worry about his family. Jacob, if you want to go ahead and read the quote out to them, please.
Yeah, this is a courtesy of at Underdog NFL. CD Lamb on Cowboys edge Mika Parsons trade request. I feel like he's going to be here. The reaction was crazy. It is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do, and he's got to do what's best for him and his family.
So I don't know, man. They say controversy sells a lot. Controversy sells. So is it the Dallas Cowboys have a new Netflix special coming up. So is that contract gonna happen? But maybe around that time to get more eyes on their new project, because Jerry Jones is all about the money. He's all about advertising and whatnot. Um, so it was either yesterday or today. I want to say that during training camp, Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones stepped out and they had about a 4-hour conversation. And today he came out and he practiced with the first defensive squad. So I mean, if that doesn't tell you progress, Jacob, then I don't know, man. My opinion, if the Cowboys were gonna let him walk, they would have already put it on notice to other teams. Jerry Jones said himself, "Pay it no mind." I mean, if they want, they could keep Micah Parsons prisoner in a professional capacity. Franchise tag him and just let him play out this current contract. What's he gonna do? Fake an injury for 3 years? I don't think so, man. So we got the head honcho from Super League asking what happens first: Micah gets traded or Project Marvel gets approved. Man, we have a better chance of Project Marvel getting approved than Micah Parsons getting traded. But that's just me being hopeful as a Cowboy. But how hopeful am I? I'm not. This is our year to win the Super Bowl. Hopeful. I just don't want us to take a loss that big. Letting Micah Parsons walk would be a ridiculous decision by the Joneses. But then again, Jacob, you as a Charger fan, from the outside looking in, you guys are very familiar with what Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones are done because the whole damn NFL clowns them, bro. All these organizations look at us as, y'all may be America's team, but y'all's front office is the NFL's circus. So from the outside looking in, as a Chargers fan, bro, what do you think about this whole situation? How is Jerry Jones handling this?
Oh, we love it. We laugh. We laugh. No, we laugh. But no, there's been times, and I did mention, I was like, I already gave my take on it. I think eventually they're going to get this thing worked out. You know what I mean? And I don't. I think Mika will be playing. You know, week one, stuff like that. I don't think that they're gonna.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna let it go. But trading, I don't think that that would happen. However, I have been one to say that I was it's like if they were to trade him or whatever, they would get a haul in return, a haul, and then in a couple of years, whatever, the Cowboys should be in a position for their fans to finally be going at the beginning of the season. Super Bowl, this is it. This is the year and stuff like that. Because they do that every single year, regardless. But then I would be like, whoa, okay, they might have something here.
Yeah, so when Micah Parsons went down last season, I was pretty upset, right? So I took to Twitter and I told them, "Man, we need to trade this dude. He's damaged goods." But what I let people know, if we do trade him, I mean, what's the trade-off? One of the best linebackers of all time, which we can say now, or edge rushers with Micah Parsons, and he has earned those credentials. Just imagine the trade stock you could get back. You could get for at least 3 or 4, B plus defenders for the price of an A plus plus defender, Jacob. And with the Cowboys, they need help on the defensive side. For example, man, you have your own VP Stephen Jones saying that our cornerbacks look weak during training camp. Why are you telling the public? Makes no sense. It's just a whole circus. When you think about the whole training camp ordeal when it comes to the Cowboys, it's more like a visit to the zoo or a publicity stunt. It's just Harry. We got my boy Harry Austin in the mix. Shout out to FC Fancast. He says, "Evening Elias, Cowboys suck." Yeah, and so do your Broncos, bro.
Here we go. Evening, Jacob. Chargers suck, and Herbert is overrated. He has never won anything. Yep. There we go. He got us back to back, dude. Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Harry.
Man, gotta love that guy, Harry. They do great stuff with SAFC, Jacob.
They do. They
Um,
do. We were out there a couple of weeks ago. Man, we had a blast. That was my first time actually being out there. I'm already hoping that maybe uh,
Make it a
Chris
yearly thing,
Leha,
bro.
Chris Leha brings us back out there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, bro. It was a great game. I know absolutely nothing about football, but we got my boy Edgar and yourself took about 10 minutes before the game to kind of guide me through the rules, and I was able to follow it for the most part. Maybe if I was a bit more alert, if you know what I'm saying, it would have been a lot easier to follow, but it was one hell of a time. Let's see. Harry said he thinks Project Marvel gets approved first. I want to know, what do you think? I didn't even get your take on that. Do you think by the time Project Marvel's finished, we have at least one NBA championship?
By the time Project Marvel, as in like a whole, because it's going to be like it's not going to be one thing all in one shot. I think if I'm correct, I think that the arenas probably looks like that's going to be the very first thing.
Yeah, well, when
Uh,
the arena's complete, you think we'll finish off our stay at the Frostbank Center with another banner being raised there?
Could be, could very well be, because I think that they're committed to the Frost Bank Center to what is it, 2032, if I'm correct. So, yeah,
That's
it's
another
still
way to that's another way to look at things. Do you think Spurs are going to give us a better project and maybe even a championship to prove to us that Project Marvel's worth all this hype, all the money, and just everything that it goes on behind it?
I'm
I'd like a Go ahead.
I'm interested to see how fast uh this thing, if it gets approved, like how fast it starts getting work. I mean, I know that they're already tearing down the Institute of Texas Culture. If you drive by there, you can see they started tearing that thing down.
The
Quick,
second they bought it, yeah.
quick. They were still talking about that thing in the courts, and they were like, "Oh, we're going through the motion," but they're already tearing it down. Like,
They're like, "Oh wait, y'all didn't approve this yet?"
not even approved. Yeah, that's what happened, dude. They were like, "Oh, this is not approved yet. Oh no, minor details, bro. Just keep going."
Jacob, I need to get your insight, bro. It seemed like the possible demolition of that Bill Miller's in the area, bro, seemed to really shook you to your
Oh,
core yesterday. You break us down on that. Why would that bother you so much? Because it's
no,
not in
no, it
your
wouldn't.
budget.
It wouldn't. I was just joking around. I was just joking around. But you know what? Jeff had another question, and here it is. Actually, really, really interesting. He goes, guys, if they do get a new arena, will it be their forever home?
I mean, it would have to be, right? That's why we're committing so much. That's why the city's committing so much for a new arena. I mean, if they're not expecting them to stay here long term, Jacob, then might as well just scrap the plans and just let them, you know, rent them out another year at Frostbank. Throw in a freebie, just so we could keep them
Yeah.
in San Antonio a year longer. But what are your thoughts on that?
I agree with you. I would say, yeah, but I do think that Jeff Garcia had said, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff. I know you're in the comments, but I think he came on recently on Locked On Spurs, and he was just like, nah, he didn't really think that it would be like the last one, which was very interesting. So,
I mean, you never know, especially with the way modern day construction and all that's fixing up. It may be a lot possible to create a new arena maybe 30 years down the line or so.
mm, yeah, yes, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but I think you had originally said like, no, you did not think that that was going to be their final home, man. You can go ahead and drop it. Master Joshua's in here. Yo, what's up? What's drinking tea? What's going on, Master Joshua?
What's good, Josh?
Uh, Jeff jumps back in. Guys, your thoughts on news of boxing trading cards announced? Yeah, I did catch on to that. What Jeff is referring to is I think Tops Chrome, I believe it is. They announced earlier today or yesterday that they were going to be releasing boxing cards. I know they teased a blaster box of, I believe it was Floyd Mayweather Jr. on the front
Yes.
of the box, and there will be some autos in there and stuff like that. So that'll be cool. The only one that I've seen though so far is Floyd Mayweather Jr. So I tried to jump when I saw that news break. I jumped in to try to see what other fighters could be inside that product, and I couldn't find anything. When I
So
find something, I'll let y'all know. Yeah,
they had announced the Gervonta Davis card, which is Tank, and if I'm not mistaken, someone had said that they pulled his card. He had an auto um in the mix too. But they had the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, all the big names in the mix, Ryan Garcia, all of them in it. I believe it's the first time that Topps has released
it is.
boxing cards since what was it, Jacob? The late 80s?
It
Late
is.
80s, early 90s. So that's a great thing. But now since we're on the subject of cards, bro, let us know what break us down. The National Card Convention just happened. What, 2 weeks ago? A week
No, this
ago?
I think believe it happened this past weekend. Yeah, I think our friend who was at Edmond, somebody was asking about it, and they were just like, "Did you see the Nationals?" And yeah, the Nationals did just get wrapped up this past Sunday. I believe this year it was in Chicago, Illinois. So the Nationals once again, once a year, all the collectors, you got the big dogs, Panini, Golden, Tops, everybody, they get together. You know what? It's kind of like, I know every once in a while Joshua would like invite me maybe to like a virtual room of cards or something like that where they're doing something, and he would just kind of like message me and he would be like, hey, you want to put you get ready to put your big boy pants on, and I'd be like, oh yeah, you know what I mean, and he's letting me know it, and then he would invite me, and it was like, man, like big time collectors and stuff like that. Now I'll just sit back in the cut. I don't do it the way Josh does it. I'll be like, hey, I'll roll with you, dude. But you know what I mean? I'm just gonna be like, but yeah, yeah, that's it's a really is a cool moment, cool time for collectors. They do a whole bunch of stuff. And, they have athletes show up, sign stuff like that, and it's just it's good. Haven't heard any complaints so far this year. I know last year they had a little bit of a backlash, when it came to like
The
park
forgery,
or
the
something like
parking and
that.
whatnot.
You know, yeah, I
Yeah,
know
I
what you're
heard
talking about with the forgery, but yeah, Joshua Spurs Arena and Bass Draft 2050 market.
about it.
Yeah, you see, there it goes. I thought I had caught that Jeff had said that on the previous Locked On Spurs episode. Make sure you give that Locked On Spurs a follow, man. Anything and everything that I want to hear about Spurs. I go get it from there, bro. Like I said, they don't use
Just
AI over there at Locked On Spurs.
yeah, man. So the godfather of Spurs, Jeff Garcia says, "Yeah, I don't think it'll be their forever home." So y'all heard it here first. After Project Marvel, uh, wait another 30 years or so and get ready for Project DC. You see what I did there? It's a play on comics.
Rudy back in here. Downtown will be even more crowded if when it passes Fiesta at the same time as a Spurs game.
Shit is
Yeah,
chaos.
yeah, it could be.
Jacob, that's why you have me in the room, bro. I'll read all the words that
Thank
you're not
thank you,
allowed to say.
thank you for picking up that fumble, Joshua. What? I did no such thing. Yes, you have. You actually did that to me, and I think Chris went in one time as us as well. Or maybe you didn't see him, but he was there. JC UTSA b-ball games at the new stadium. Yeah, I don't know about all that. It would be
Uh,
interesting. They're already playing at the Dome. Like those first guys, what are the odds I fold on stage public when I just saw Moon Fry at the Big
oh,
Texas
he's
Yeah, I know what he's
so
talking
he
about.
so he's gonna have her on the panel, and he's
Yeah,
already head over heels. She's not even in
yeah,
the room yet, Jacob.
yeah. I
I
saw
think
that earlier.
I think we're gonna have a stuttering Jeff Garcia on the panel. They might need to tag someone in like myself to take over and handle that, bro.
Yeah, I give him like about 5 minutes, 5 minutes or whatever this and then. Honestly, I thought he was gonna. What was it when it came down to? Was he a big fan of this past one that he was sharing all the pictures with? Was it the
uh,
was it the
it,
Karate Kid?
yeah, it was the
Yeah,
Karate
the
Kid,
original Karate
Karate
Kid,
Kid
like with
crew.
Ralph Macchio and everybody was on there, and he was sharing pictures and he was stuff
Yeah,
like that.
he was sharing with us his Carl Weathers story too. He said that he got Carl Weathers, who's a big, I believe, Lakers fan,
Mhm.
to actually say "Go Spurs, go," and he did it for on Jeff's behalf. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers. You know, the one and only Apollo Creed.
Yeah, yeah, great Rocky movies. Hey, but once again, guys, like I said, Elias and I, we just wanted to come hang out with y'all for a little bit and just let y'all know that hey, moving forward, from time to time, we are going to be filling in for Rudy. Um, Sometimes we'll be together. Sometimes it's going to be Elias. Sometimes it'll be myself. I know Anthony will probably be jumping on. When we do, we'll make sure to let y'all know and stuff like that. Master Josh, Jeff, you got a, you get a pass. What do you have? We have her autographing. What do you have her autographing? Oh man, that would be interesting.
Jeff's gonna show up with his old pop comics from his pop magazines from the early 1990s that had her. Could you please sign this for me and personalize it to Jeff the Spurs God Garcia?
Hey, real quick, man, do you want to go ahead and give a shout out to Chris Leha and MCS? I was
Yeah,
trying to find his stuff right here, but it's not on here.
yeah. Shout out Chris Leha and the whole crew over at MCS General Contracting, the lead, or at least our favorite contractors. You know, for that diamond hearted concrete. It's not always the cheapest work, but they always get the work done right. You know, like he says, you don't pay cheap for good quality, and damn, is their quality good. They're the best in the game, in my opinion. Y'all could go ahead and give them a follow on Facebook. You support our sponsors over at facebook.com dash MCS General Contracting 21. That is facebook.com dash MCS General Contracting 21. Give my boy Chris Leha a shout out and give him a reach out to him if you need any work done. They do everything, bro. If you need patios, basketball courts, um, if you just need a driveway done so you could flex on your neighbors, they go ahead and do that too, and they do it right the first time. So go ahead and reach out to MCS General Contracting for that diamond hard work.
This guy, dude. Jeff. Now, if it gets announced Daphne Keene is coming to the Big Texas Comic Con, she might need an army to get me from.
Dang, I didn't know this was sweeps after hour, Jeff. You're wilding out in the comments. But yeah, Jeff Garcia, not only does he do great stuff over with the Spurs, he's one hell of a Comic Con host, Jacob.
Second to none. Second to none. Both at the Comic Con and with anything and everything San Antonio Spurs. Man, I'm still trying to get used to this. This is in my studio, so I'm trying to get used to it. But one thing I did find was funny, and I don't know if this isn't mine. This isn't my studio, but I was looking at their banners, and I was like, I guess this came up on a previous episode for Rudy. I'm like, what the hell were they talking about?
That's probably your quote too. You know, he was probably quoting you or something.
Where's that? That's not. This isn't my studio. This isn't mine. I'm just simply saying this was here.
Yeah, so I'm ashamed to admit that, maybe Rudy and I share a studio and that might have been my comment. But I'm just kidding. I'm not taking credit for that.
There you go. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping it up here, guys, and stuff like that. But Elias, what do you got going on?
All right, so I got Plead the Sith every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Time. I have the boy Hollywood Nixon in the mix. Y'all love to hate him, but do y'all even know his origin story though? If y'all want to hear about that, go ahead and tune in this upcoming Tuesday. And if you guys don't like him at the end of the episode, on my show at least, even hate and bad comments are welcome. So yeah, make sure to join us in that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel PTS_TV 2025, and just be aware. My channel is NSFW. We cuss and whatnot. So if your kiddos and whatnot are around, maybe find a time, tune in, or listen to us with some headphones.
There you go. Once again, he is Elias. Make sure you give him a follow at Sith_X_Elias. I am Jacob Eric Cancino. Make sure you give me a follow at Jacob Eric C. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We hope y'all have a great weekend. Great in the market. Should be back tomorrow. I don't know. I'll make an announcement and let y'all know later. Y'all have a good night, everybody. Peace.